What is going on today, guys? So today I want to talk about why Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 had failed. Now, when I'm talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I'm talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 that came out in 2022. As you can see, that's what I'm playing right now. And that's the newest COD up until this point. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is just about to come out soon. I believe it's like 3 days away from coming out. So by the time I post this video, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 will be released. But as of right now, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is still the newest playable COD as of currently recording, but that will change very soon. Anyhow, so there's a couple reasons to why I think Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 had failed. I think that some of the biggest problems with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was the fact that, first and foremost, they did not listen to the community whatsoever. They kind of, it's almost like when developing this game, they just kind of decided to do their own thing and not listen to what the community had to say at all, and didn't take the feedback that we gave as a community, and in return, I think that's what really, I think that's one of the biggest reasons to why this game had failed, was just because they didn't want to give us the game that we wanted. They kind of just gave us what they wanted to build as a game, and didn't care about our opinion and not only the community's opinion, but the people that create content on this game. They weren't listening to content creators at all that were giving feedback on this game, which obviously I think that led to the biggest problem this game had, and was the reason why this game failed from the very start. It just never had the chance to be a good Call of Duty because it was never created for the people that actually love Call of Duty and play it on, it's the game that they mostly play on, maybe a day-to-day basis or every other day or whatever the case might be. Whenever they have the time, this is the game that they like to play. And they didn't even listen to people that literally make a living off of creating content for this game. And apparently there was a lot of content creators that had given their feedback in like the very, very early stages of this game, like pre-alpha stages of this game, and had said, hey, this is what we wanted, this is what we think would make this game really good, and they did not listen to that feedback whatsoever. And then even when like the beta came out and we all were able to give our feedback on this game, and everyone was able to kind of say like, hey, this is what we think you should change, and what would make this game a hell of a lot better, they didn't listen to any sort of feedback from that either. They just came out with a game that they thought, I guess they thought would be good, and they thought would be the best for us, even though that we vocalized what we wanted. So it didn't really make sense from the very start, and that's what set this game up to be so bad. And I wouldn't say it's not like the worst Call of Duty ever, but it's definitely definitely not the best. It's definitely not a top Call of Duty. No, it's nowhere in anyone's top 5 or top 3. It falls short in a lot of areas. And some of those changes that they did to make this game fail was, one, they changed the movement around drastically. So compared to the previous Call of Duties that we had for the last few years, other than Cold War, but I think even Cold War was better than the movement and the flow of this game. But like if we look at Call of Duty 2019, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, and we look at Call of Duty Vanguard, and we look at the first Warzone, it was the movement and the feel of that game and the pace of that game, or of those games, should I say, were so much better than this game. So much faster, so much more fluid. You could honestly, you could use movement to your advantage in that game, and it created more of a skill gap. It allowed better players to be able to develop a skill in which they could use to have an advantage over other players. And I think that them changing that around showed that, one, they didn't really care to listen to us at all, but two, they were also making what I think is the second major mistake of this game, which was they were catering the game to casuals way too much. You could see it all over this game. It is 150% a game catered to casuals. That's what they designed this game for, was for the casuals, for like the bottom percentage of Call of Duty that aren't really the best. They don't play the game constantly. They're or even like newcomers to the game who are brand new to the game. They, you know, maybe this was their first Call of Duty or whatever. That's who they developed the game for. And you can see it from the changes. Again, going back to movement, they changed the movement around because that's what they knew, that movement was too much for newcomers to the game. They knew that it was too much for casuals, and that better players were doing were having too much of an advantage against newcomers and casuals, so they decided to remove it and slow everything down to the point where you were literally punished for moving too quickly. If you decided you wanted to play more aggressively, you were punished for that. This game rewards playing a hell of a lot slower and kind of playing more ratty and camping and kind of just holding an area down instead of moving around and being active and rushing and what's not. It definitely punished that, and I think that was a terrible change, was to do that, because again, now you're only appealing to a small, very small percentage, you know, of the COD community, the newcomers, the casuals, what's not. Maybe they're happy about it, but everyone else is not too happy. A few more reasons why this game had failed, other than them not listening to the community, them making drastic changes to the game that didn't need to be needed, or need to be changed, is the words I'm looking for, and them catering game casuals was it had a really bad launch. I think that didn't help at all. It was just a really buggy. It had a lot of major bugs, major issues, major performance issues. Game was crashing a lot, so on and so forth. And then there was a lack of content. I feel like this game just didn't have very much content at all. In the beginning stages of the game, they just weren't adding much, and even throughout the game's life cycle, it just felt like they could have added a lot more. There could have been more maps, there could have been more weapons, there could have been more everything. But especially at the launch of the game, they just weren't. It's almost like they abandoned the game. They weren't adding a single thing into the game, other than like I think they added like shipment and shoot house, and then that was kind of it. They kind of just were like, all right, have fun, bye. And we didn't really get much at all. But yeah, I think those are the I want to say the main reasons to why this game failed was, again, one, because they didn't listen to the community at all. They kind of just made this game without taking the feedback of the community and content creators and what's not. They made drastic changes to the game that did not need to be made. One being the movement. The movement did not need to be changed whatsoever, and they went and changed around, made everything slower. And that's from like not only just removing slide canceling, but literally slowing down the running, the sliding, the tack sprinting, the mantling, just everything in general got slowed down, which in return made playing slowly and playing more passive more viable and a hell of a lot better of an option compared to playing more aggressive and rushing around, because you would get punished for that. And then 3, they catered the game more towards casuals. They clearly, a lot of the design choices they made and a lot of what they put within the game was catered more towards casuals to allow the casuals to get more of an advantage against better players and kind of nerf better players more to allow newcomers and casuals to be able to do better against the better players, which failed. I don't know why they would do that. I guess from a business standpoint, I can kind of see it, but really they just ended up ruining the whole game for them. And 4 being that it had a really terrible launch. The launch was terrible. It was filled with terrible game-breaking bugs. It had a lot of performance issues, from crashing to stuttering to terrible FPS drops and so on and so forth. And then 5, lack of content, especially at the launch of the game. There was a lack of content in those first few months in the launch of the game, and even throughout the game's lifespan, it felt like there was a lot less content than other Call of Duty games. And yeah, I think that's all I really want to talk about. I think those are the 5 main points of why Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 had failed. And it's unfortunate because it had so much potential to be a good game if they actually just listened to the community and didn't cater to casuals and newcomers and what's not. And they cared more about the game. And it could have been much better. Luckily, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 looks very promising. It looks like they're actually listening to the community this time. They're making changes that people actually want, and they're doing things and adding things to the game that make it a lot better. So far, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 looks very promising. and I'm hoping that it's a good game. It looks like a good game. Looks a lot better than Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So yeah, I have a lot of hope for it. But who knows? We'll see it at launch. Again, I think it launches in 3 days. So by the time this video comes up, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 will be released. So this is probably going to be my last video on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Maybe I'll do one more, doing like one final review of the game. I'm not sure. That's a maybe. But I kind of want to focus most of my attention on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and be making content on that. So yeah, that's all I really want to talk about today, guys. So if you guys enjoyed the video, then please give the video a like, and if you guys want more content like this, then please subscribe to the channel. But yeah, it's gonna be for me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and yeah, bye guys, have a good one.